So there was a present waiting for me when I got home today, to me, from me. No, there were a couple of products that I wanted to pick up from The Ordinary. I haven't used any of these in quite a long time. The one has just been out of stock for fucking forever. This one right here, this is the Retinol 1% and Squalane. This one was definitely missing from my recent skincare video because they just haven't had this in stock in like a long time. I want to say at least 6 months, maybe closer to a year. They finally had it, so I picked one up to use at nighttime. A couple of products that I just haven't used in a long time because I used them up and then just never picked them up again. This is the Argireline solution 10%. This targets the appearance of dynamic facial lines. This is basically a lightweight serum that you use around your eyes and on your forehead, anywhere where you might get like deeper lines. Let's be honest, I use Botox to get rid of those lines, but it doesn't hurt to have something that you can use topically as well. So I did get one of those, and then I dropped it on the floor. And I also picked up the caffeine solution 5%. This also has something called EGCG in it, which is from tea tree. No, it's from green tea, and they have put that in this as well. It says that it reduces appearance of eye contour, pigmentation, and puffiness. I thought it wouldn't hurt to add that into the routine along with my regular eye cream. This one I will be using morning and night, and the retinol will only be used at night. I'm going to go ahead and use all three of these things, including this guy that I dropped on the floor. I'm going to use all of these tonight since I just got them in the mail. And since today was a no makeup day, I just wore moisturizer and eye cream. I just used the Bioderma micellar water. This is the one that's more targeted for oily skin like mine. That was enough to just kind of get everything off my skin. And now that my skin has dried down, I think that I am going to start with the Argireline solution. And this one, you want to use just a few drops. It says to drop it on your skin to kind of like go in this way with it, but this stuff is so like watery that if you go in and drop this on your skin, it just drips right down your face. If you drip it on your forehead, it's going to go into your eyes. So I like to put like a little pool of it in the palm of my hand and then just kind of tap it in with my fingers, again going on the forehead, a little bit between the eyebrows on those 11 lines, and then taking the rest of it and just kind of going around my eyes with it. Again, I did just get Botox a week ago, so I have about a week until it's fully set in, so I do still have a little bit of movement there, but not a whole lot. I still have this bruise, but it is what it is. That happens sometimes. And that is water-based, so it does sink into the skin really quickly. And then I'm going to go right over top of that around my eye area with the caffeine solution 5%. Plus EGCG. This one is a little thicker. It's a little bit more viscous. Is that the right word? So I'm going to take just about a drop or so of that. Let's do 2. And then that is going to go under and around my eyes. And again, this one is to help with puffiness around the eyes. It's got a really high level of caffeine in it. I haven't used this one in a long time. I don't really remember if it worked that well, like if it really did a whole lot. But since it was in stock, I went ahead and picked that one up because, you know, it doesn't hurt to throw on something else that's going to help with puffiness around the eyes, you know. So for a while now, I have been using this Gran Active Retinoid 2% in squalane. This is supposed to be like a milder version of a retinoid or a retinol. I know there is a difference between the two. I'm not sure what the difference is. But I have been using this for a while because this is what's been in stock. This is supposed to be less irritating on the skin. You get less redness. But what I find is it doesn't really work as well. And again, this one, the retinol 1% in squalane, this was really, really working for me. This has 3 different levels. So this is the highest level. There is, I want to say like 0.2%, 0.5%, and then the 1%. But I had worked my way up to this one and I was using this for a long time and I really liked it. It really did help to like even out the texture of my skin. Everything was very smooth. I really liked this a lot when I was using it, but it hadn't been in stock for so long, I had to switch to something else. And while this has been working and it is okay, I just found that it didn't work as well as this one did. So I was really glad that this was back in stock. And kind of like everything else, I'm just going to take a few drops of that, really just kind of pressing that into the skin. And then once this has had a chance to really sink into my skin, probably about 10-15 minutes, I'll go ahead and use my regular, you know, moisturizer, eye cream, all of that stuff. And that will be the end of my nighttime skincare. So I just ran out of my setting powder, and so I thought I would make a new batch of it on camera here today. If you've been around for a while, then you guys might know that I call this my Franken powder, because I can't use just one powder. I need different ingredients that are going to affect the powder differently and make it look better for me on my face. And then just for shade reference, I'm going to show you guys some foundations that I wear. I wear the MAC Studio Face and Body Foundation in the shade N1. This is probably a little bit too neutral, but I can really make this one work, and it's pretty much close to perfect. As far as perfect matches go for me, I think that the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in the shade 112 Natural Ivory is pretty spot on once it's blended into the skin. These are Studio Finish concealers from MAC. I have them in the shades W10 and NW20, and I can create a pretty much perfect custom blend between the two of these. And then also the Studio Fix Foundation Stick. This is in the shade NW13. That's a pretty spot on match. And then the Bare Minerals Original Loose Powder Foundation, the shade Fairly Medium. And what I need in tone from whether it's my foundation, concealer, setting powders, any of that is I need something to be very, very light, and I need something to be very, very pink. I like to say that my perfect MAC foundation shade is NW Ham because I am fucking pink. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started on this custom powder that I make for myself. I use 4 different powders. I use the Maybelline Fit Me. This is the loose finishing powder in the shade 05 Fair. This is the lightest that this comes in. And this one is just slightly too neutral for what I need. So I do like to add in some of the Ben Nye Pretty Pink translucent powder. And this one is really the perfect tone for me. But what I find is if I use this one just on its own, it ends up oxidizing and it just goes a little bit darker on my under eye area. And I'm concentrating my powder more on the center of my face anyway. So if this is going to kind of darken up the center of my face, so I find that cutting this with something a little bit lighter and more neutral like this one, it kind of helps this from oxidizing and just looking kind of weirdly peach on my under eye area. And so these are both definitely a very matte powder, which I like, but I find that the older I get, the less like super matte I want to be, especially in the under eye area, because if you're too matte under the eyes, it's definitely going to age that skin. So I do like to have something for a little bit of illumination to add to this powder as well. I recently discovered these powders from e.l.f. These are the Halo Glow setting powders, and these are very similar in tone to the other powders that I use here. And what I find is that by mixing equal parts of all four of these powders together, it ends up being the perfect shade and the perfect finish for my skin. And so I just mix them in one of these powder sifter jars. I got this on Amazon for maybe like $3 or $4. And so I basically just take equal parts of all four of these. I put them into this container here, and then I just mix them all together. So it's not an exact science. I just take each of these four powders and I just dump them in until I feel like I have an even amount of all four of them. Throw some of that one in there, and then some of the pink one. And then I've got a brand new container of the Fit Me powder. Now the packaging of this stuff is kind of annoying because you can't really dismantle the packaging. Like, it's all one piece, so there's not anything to pop up out of here so that I can easily dump this into this container. What I do is I'll peel that sticker off, and to dump this one in here, I pretty much have to completely tip it upside down and just tap that powder into this container. But again, it's basically equal parts of all four of these powders. And then I'm just gonna kind of mix them together a little bit with this, what is this called? A spatula, a little metal spatula. And just try to make sure that everything's pretty much evenly mixed in there. And then once things are mixed, you can kind of close it up and give it a really good thorough shake, and that'll help to blend everything else in together pretty evenly. And that's it, my customized powder. This should last me about 3 or 4 months. And that's what she looks like blended out on the back of my hand. My hand is pretty dry and crusty right now, but you get the idea. So apparently my videos are getting more and more random as we go, because now I am in my bathroom once again, where I am going to bleach out my beard. It's been a while, obviously. I've got some mega regrowth going on this beard, so it is time to touch up the roots on my facial hair, and on some other hair that I don't think that I'm allowed to show you here on YouTube. But I think you get the gist. So I've bleached out my beard a couple times before, and in the past I never had a big problem with like sensitivity or anything like that on my skin. But I think because I use a lot of chemical exfoliants now, I think that my face just doesn't like the idea of it, because the last time that I did this, when I went blue about a month or so ago, my face got really torn up from it. Even almost a week later, I was still having to like go in with tweezers and just like pull off all of the skin that was like, you know, flaking off. But there is a desensitizer that you can buy that you can put in the bleach, and it will stop chemical burns and it will stop any kind of sensitivity to the bleach. Well, when I was in Salon Centric last week, I asked the lady there if there was anything cheaper than that particular product. And she was like, well, have you ever tried Sweet and Low? And I was like, well, I've heard that that's a thing, and I've heard that you can do that. But I've never done it before. And she had a bunch of packs of Sweet and Low in her purse. So she gave me some. So I'm going to try that today and see if it does in fact work. I am using 40 volume developer because, I mean, that's just what's going to get the hair the lightest and the fastest. So I did 2 scoops of bleach. I'm doing 2 ounces of 40 volume developer. And then I also am going to throw in I'm going to go ahead and throw in 3 packs of Sweet and Low. And we'll see if this makes any kind of difference in the burning, the flakiness, any of that kind of stuff that happened the last time that I did this to my face. And yeah, we'll just see. Yeah, so I've got everything in the bowl together. I'm just gonna stir it all in. And then I'm gonna try to get my actual hair out of the way. Yeah, I really do think a lot of the reason why I was so sensitive the last time is because I use retinol at night, I use glycolic acid in the morning. So I'm always using a chemical exfoliant twice a day. And I think that my skin was just not having any part of that. Hopefully the sweet and low trick works. Have you guys ever done that when you're bleaching your hair at home? Not that anybody should be bleaching their hair at home, but I know that it does happen. So I've been wanting to touch up my microblading on both my eyebrows and my hairline because I've done both. And they both need redone really bad. But I have really oily skin, and so I'm already not a good candidate for microblading. But you know, I'm doing it anyway. So my eyebrows are just not built up to exactly where I want them to be. If you see, there's like hair strokes here that took really well that didn't take over here. I've got some just like kind of patchier areas of brows here, and they just really need to be built up. They need to be redone probably a few more times. But again, using chemical exfoliants, you have to stop using them 2 weeks prior and 2 weeks after doing microblading. And so for me, that's like a month without using any chemical exfoliants. And when I do that, I just fucking hate my skin for that entire month. But I'm really wanting to do it again. So I think that I just kind of want to say fuck it and do what I'm doing. Continue to use my products the way that I'm already using them, but really avoid the eyebrow area, really avoid the hairline area, and then just go ahead and do the microblading touch up and hope for the best and hope that it sticks in my face. And I was also thinking about going ahead and doing the process on camera for a video so that you can see how I do my microblading. And then at the same time that I do that, I do need to go in and do another round of the skin tightening treatment with the skin tag zapper, which I know that a lot of people have been asking me about that. And again, there is a video coming. The first round of it was filmed with before video, after video, and now we'll get to see how things look now compared to then. And then again, after doing a second and maybe even a third round of the skin tightening, just seeing, you know, again, a gradual progression of how that works. It really does need to be done a few times in order to see maximum results. And that's really what I want with that video, which is why it's definitely taking a long time. But I think that I want all of that stuff to be healing at the same time instead of, you know, oh, I'm gonna do my eyebrows now and let that heal, and then do the skin tightening treatment later and then let that heal. Like, if I'm gonna look like a monster, I kind of want it all to be healing at the same time and just get it out of the way, you know what I mean? Okay, so now that my beard is thoroughly saturated in bleach, I did get some on the ends. It's fine. I kind of combed it out. I am going to use some saran wrap, and this is going to keep the bleach nice and moist so that it doesn't dry out, because once the bleach dries out, then it really just kind of stops working. Now, if you use foil, it will actually incubate the hair and the bleach, and it will help to heat everything up, and it will make things work a little bit faster. I like to use saran wrap because it's see-through, so I can see what it's doing and I can see when it is ready to be removed. I look fucking crazy right now. What else is new? I will come back as soon as everything is processed and rinsed, and we will see if my skin is still attached to my face. My skin isn't in as bad of shape as it was when I did this like a month ago. It's definitely a little bit angry with me, but it was really bad the last time. Got a little bit of bumpiness happening here where I'm probably gonna have a little bit of flaky skin, but again, not nearly as bad. So the Sweet and Low probably did help things out a little bit. I did overlap the bleach on the ends here. They were definitely pretty crispy, so I did clean that up a little bit. I cut a little bit of that off. As far as the color that I use for my beard, my hair, the hair down there, it is Blue Muse by Pulp Riot. I really like this blue. It used to be called Nirvana, and then they recently changed the name. I don't know why they changed it, but I still just really like this color, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep using it. There is a Manic Panic shade that is very similar to this called Voodoo Blue, I think it's called. So I haven't used Manic Panic in a long time. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this color slapped all over. The dogs are very active this morning. I'm gonna go ahead and get this color slapped all over the beard and the other hair. I actually started this morning. The first thing I did this morning when I woke up is I put this color in my hair here. So it's been processing for a few hours. So once this stuff is ready to rinse out, I'm just gonna go ahead and hop in the shower, rinse everything out, and then we can see what everything is looking like. Okay, so this is how everything looks now that it's done. Color is refreshed, it's looking good. Skin didn't do too bad underneath here. If you really look, I've got a spot right there where you can see like a blue spot on the skin. There's another one right there. Those are the areas that are kind of like burnt. And those are the areas where I'm gonna have like skin flaking and peeling off in a few days. But other than that, the rest of my skin did pretty good. So I'm definitely going to keep using the Sweet and Low in my bleach formulation when I'm putting it on my face, because it really did seem to help. That's the only thing I did different than the last time. So, and I figured while we're here, and since this is something that gets asked a lot on my Instagram, on my YouTube, kind of everywhere, people want to know about my hair and what I do to it styling wise. Prepare to be really disappointed because there's not a lot that happens. So as far as like what I wash and condition my hair with, shampoo, I use the seaweed shampoo from Bumble and Bumble. As far as conditioner goes, I use the mending conditioner. This is also from Bumble and Bumble. I believe this is being discontinued, which is really sad. But again, my hair is bleached out. The ends of it are anyway. But as far as styling my hair goes, I think that's what people usually want to know about. And again, there's not really a whole lot that happens. So basically, after I pull it out of my towel, I don't do any kind of brushing or anything like that. I do all of my detangling in the shower with a wide tooth comb when I have my conditioner in, and that just kind of helps to get rid of any of the shedding, which there's a lot of shedding lately. I'm losing a lot of hair. I think I'm going bald. But that gets rid of the shedding, it detangles and all of that stuff for me. And then I don't brush my hair until right before I go to wash it, just to get all the hair out that would have shed throughout the week. I like to do it before I get in the shower and wet it down and all that. What I do styling wise is, again, I just pull it out of the towel, and then I take this product here. This is the Bumble and Bumble Surf Styling Leave-In. This is going to give the hair a little bit of that gritty texture. It also has UV protection, which doesn't mean shit in Northeast Ohio because we get, I think it's right around 12 days of sun a year. I just take a little bit in the palm of my hand like that. Then I just kind of get in there and I work it into the scalp. I work this into the roots of my hair. This is where I want a little bit more grit and a little bit more texture because that's gonna help to give me just like a little bit more volume. Once I have this pretty much all over the root area, then what I do is anything that's left on my hands, I just kind of rake it through and work it through like the mid shaft to the ends of my hair. But there's not that much product left on my hands by the time that I do this. And then, because when I'm using a product that has some grit and some texture to it, I like to balance that out with something that's going to give it a little bit more moisture, because I don't want it to be all grit. Because again, like everything that's blue has been bleached out a couple times. So then I'll go in with, this is a product from R&Co. This is called Waterfall. This is a moisture and shine lotion. And I just go in with like a marble size amount, nothing crazy. Now I tend to take it pretty easy on how much product I'm actually putting in my hair. And the reason for that is I only want to wash my hair once a week. And I feel like if I go in with too much product on that first day, I'm gonna feel grimy. I'm gonna feel like my hair's coated that second and that third day, and then I'm not gonna wanna wait an entire week to wash my hair, you know? So basically this I'm taking and I'm kind of pulling it through the ends of my hair first. So the product with the grit and the texture is gonna go on the top and then work my way down. The product that has more moisture, I'm gonna start at the ends and work my way up, if that makes sense. So I'm really just kind of, again, working it through the ends of the hair, a little bit through this stuff around my face. So then I'm gonna take my wide tooth comb that I use also in the shower to detangle with conditioner in it. And then I just kind of comb this stuff down a little bit. I want this to be kind of combed down towards my face just a tiny bit. And then I just kind of comb this stuff into place a little bit. And then any kind of like styling that I do to my hair, if you want to call it styling, is as my hair dries naturally, about every, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or so, I'll go in and I'll kind of tip my head to the side like this, and I'll just kind of like scrunch up into my hair a little bit this way. And then I'll go to the opposite side and I'll scrunch this way. And then I'll even like tip my head upside down and just kind of scrunch into it upside down. And again, I do that every 5, maybe 10 minutes as it's drying, and that's it. Now, on the first day that I wash my hair, like today, it's not gonna be as curly as you guys sometimes see it. My hair tends to get curlier the dirtier it gets. And I sleep with my hair up in a bun at night. And then what I'll do is when I wake up in the morning, I'll pull it out, I'll like re-wet it a little bit, and then I'll just kind of like scrunch it again. And it's almost like every day, the dirtier it gets, the curlier it gets. So by the end of the week, by like day 6 or 7, it's at like maximum curliness, and it looks really fucking good when it's that dirty. But like when you see my hair and it's really curly and it looks really good, it's gross and it stinks and there's like so much dry shampoo in it at that point. So again, I don't do any kind of heat styling. I wash it, I detangle it, I get some shit in it, I scrunch it a little bit as it dries, and that's all I fucking do to it. I'll check in a little bit here and there throughout the week and just kind of show you how it's going and how it progresses once it gets a little bit dirtier. All right, so day 2 of my hair routine, and before we do that, let's address my face for a second. So it has been over a week now. It's Wednesday, and I got my Botox last Monday. So 9 days in, and this is still where my bruise is. But my skin is really breaking out right now, but it's no surprise because I realized that in the last week, I have introduced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different new products into my routine, which is completely fucking ridiculous. So I think what I need to do is kind of like back off on some of these products and go back to something very simple, let my skin clear up, and then go in and slowly introduce 1 product at a time so that I can kind of weed out which one is the culprit for, you know, all the Freddy Krueger situation that's happening on my face. But that's that. As far as my hair hair goes. So I wear my hair up in a bun to bed so that it doesn't get too crazy and all over the place. I put some bobby pins in just to kind of keep all the crazy regrowth hairs and all this stuff just kind of up and out of the way. And so what I'll do on the second day is I will pull my hair out of this bun, and it's still going to be crazy because I do wrap it kind of tight. It's not that bad, I guess. And this, again, kind of reinforces some of the natural curl, natural wave that I have in my hair. So what I do then is I just take, this is water in a spray bottle, and I just kind of start lightly spraying, more like the mid shaft and then down to the ends a little bit. Just enough that I can loosen some of those weird curls that are going on in there and kind of like scrunch them back in and make them uniform with all the rest of the hair. So yeah, just getting everything about halfway wet and then going back in and scrunching everything. And then scrunching with my head upside down. This will help to kind of scrunch the hair on the top of my head and give me more volume up there. And then tomorrow I'll do the same thing, but I'll add some dry shampoo into the routine, just kind of lifting my hair up, blasting it at the roots all over. And that will extend everything for the next probably 3 or so days after that. So again, I do get asked all the time about my hairstyling routine, and that's really all that I ever do. All right, and then to finish things up, we are several days out at this point. It's actually been up in a bun all weekend. It's gross. But when I go in and mist things down one more time, and I realized when I was editing this video that I had my camera set up too high and you really couldn't see a lot of what I was doing when I was scrunching my hair, and that you never got to see what it looked like on those days after it was completely dry. So hopefully you can see a little bit better what I'm doing now. Again, I'm just re-wetting it. Again, I've been re-wetting it every day. I did put some dry shampoo in it, I think on Friday, maybe Saturday morning. It's Monday afternoon now. But again, I'm just re-wetting and scrunching as I go. If I have any weird kind of curls there, just kind of blast that at the weird spot. And then just kind of re-scrunch everything. And it really is on these days when my hair is at its most filthy. Those are the days when I get the most comments and the most compliments on my hair. People just really seem to love it when it's in this state. And then I even pull like the hair from the back forward and then mist that hair down too. So even everything underneath has a chance to be kind of, you know, revived, re-scrunched, re-matted together, whatever it is that you want to call it. And when I'm re-wetting, I don't want it to be soaking wet, but I do want everything to get misted down evenly, except for the root. I don't actually wet the roots down because, again, I've already sprayed dry shampoo in it once, and I'm going to do it again today. And putting that over like wet hair and like greasy scalp and stuff, it's not ideal. Plus, by leaving the roots alone, it's been up in a bun all weekend. And so the roots on top are already kind of wanting to go like up. And so it'll just give me more volume that way too. And then just give everything a good scrunch. And I'm going to keep doing this for about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. Not repeatedly, but I'm going to let it dry for about 10, 15 minutes. And just every few minutes kind of give it another scrunch like this. And then I'll move on to some dry shampoo and just some really quick finishing. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. I mean, I guess I really could skip the dry shampoo if I wanted to, because it's not too bad up here. Who knows, I might be able to get an extra day or two out of this. I'm just going to take a dry shampoo, aerosol can. I've got a really cheap one right now. This is the Dove Volume and Fullness Dry Shampoo. I do not recommend drugstore hair care products, but when you are out of the stuff that you like and you are in a pinch, you make do with what is available and cheap. So I'm lifting up sections, kind of blasting that at the roots, all over the head, the back, the top, the sides, all of it. That way, if somebody is standing downwind of you, they're not gonna catch a whiff of your week old scalp as you are walking past them or whatever. Oh, this stuff fucking stinks. And while I'm waiting for that to just kind of absorb into my hair, let's talk about what's on my face really quick. I didn't make a video on this because I figured it's not something that people really want to see, but this is a full face of the Jeffree Star Orgy palette. And by full face, I mean my foundation, my eyebrows, my lips, contour, all of it, the entire face, except for my mascara and my waterline eyeliner. This is all the Orgy palette, but there is a photo of this on my Instagram page if you want to follow me over there and take a close-up look at this look. I think it turned out pretty sweet, actually. But again, if you are interested in getting a closer up look at this makeup, just go ahead and follow me over there and you can take a look for yourself. And again, tomorrow it will have been a week since I washed my hair, and this is definitely the best that it's looked all week. But that's what it is. It's like the dirtier it gets and the more you clump it together with some water, throw some dry shampoo in there at the scalp, and, you know, just kind of scrunch it. But that's where I'm going to leave you guys off for now. I think we're already clocking in at over a half an hour. Hopefully that was enough of a distraction for you guys. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next one.